Hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Caden Schwartner here with me. Caden, I went to school with your mom, and you want to get into the business, so you were just kind of hanging out today. How's this experience been for you?
It's been awesome. It's absolutely fascinating to me. I've been an Aggie pretty much since I could see and since I could think. So I've been through all the pains and all the excitement. And I think it's going to be great just to get to talk about it with other people. I think A&M sports, it's kind of like getting back with an ex-girlfriend. It's like you're losing happiness in the same place you found it, and you're going back again and again and again and again and again. And I don't want to go through it alone. I want to talk about it with other people.
You need a support group. That's why we have TexAgs.com.
Until it gets better.
Who's your favorite athlete on campus?
This year it was Nick Scorton.
Nick Scorton, okay.
Hayden Schott is my favorite.
Hayden Schott's great,
favorite.
All right, Coop, what was your favorite part of the show?
I really like Jace Sternberger.
Yeah, he was great.
I didn't know much about him. I wasn't really an A&M fan until I got here.
Well, then you can leave. I'm kidding. You can stay.
I liked him, and then Billy coming on and saving us for an open segment was great.
Billy was great. Justin Lanham was on the program. Dennis Dodd was not on the program. That's okay. We'll get him back here soon. But Connor Morrissette was on there, the USC insider. So we broke down a little USC football. That and more here on the Rewind. A little snapshot. They only have 3 non-conference games left before they start their SEC play. It's already here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's here. But like we said early on, the Aggies are battle tested. They've seen some great talent. But looking forward, I mean, I don't know what the stat is. Y'all maybe be able to pull it up, but 7 teams in the top 25 of the SEC? I mean, that's just crazy, you know? So, and a lot of those teams are in the top 10, you know? So I don't know that I expected OU to be up there. They're up there, Tennessee, Auburn. I mean, it's just going to be Alabama. You know, it's going to be some really solid games in the SEC this year.
Well, I'm trying to pull up the top 25 just to kind of go through it with you, because you look at it, man, and I didn't even realize Oklahoma was also in that mix. But you've got Tennessee, you've got Auburn, you've got Kentucky, all in the top 5. 3 of the top 5. You've got Alabama at 7. You've got Florida at 9. You've got Oklahoma at 13. You've got A&M, obviously, at 17. You've got Ole Miss at 19. And you have Mississippi State at 25. That's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I think a lot of times, you know, we talk about how good the Big 12 is, and, you know, a lot of times that's the truth. You know, the Big 12 is solid at basketball, but man, the SEC basketball this year is going to be really fun to watch. And just the athleticism and the bigs that I just love SEC basketball from that standpoint. And so it's going to be fun. It's going to be really interesting down the stretch, but I like our chances just because of who we've played. Buzz has set this team up for success because of who he played in the non-conference.
But when you play these tough teams, it can do the opposite too, right? Like, you lose a couple of these, like, it's a gamble, and it's paid off so far for Buzz, but like, you lose a couple of them, and now your season feels completely different, where your fan base isn't as invested, and your players are like wondering if you're going to be able to get out of this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it can go one of two ways, and that's the risk you're willing to take, especially now. And
how do you define this A&M football season, this 24 season that had the 7 straight wins, unfortunate end to the season, but a growth of a new coach? How would you categorize it?
I don't want to say better than expected, because I said it all along to I even argued with my little brothers. I said we were going to have 3 losses this year. I was one off, obviously, but it was, I want to say it was better than I expected, in the sense of the win-loss column didn't show that, but I definitely didn't think, I didn't realize how I didn't understand how good of a recruiter he is, or I knew he was going to be a good recruiter in the high school world, because I know how high school coaches view him and respect him. But the biggest thing that kind of the puzzle pieces put together was, I don't think we're ever going to have to worry about transfer portal kids and getting not a bad kid, but grabbing the wrong one, because Elko doesn't strike me as the type we're going to go after maybe the most attractive or the most biggest name sometimes, but he really understands the culture and what we need to bring in, and like Scooby Williams and guys like that, where, I mean, maybe it's just the blind eye to me, but like, I didn't really know about the kid prior to the season. And then we get here and I'm just like, this dude could easily be the leader of our defense, just the way how he plays effort wise. And you never hear about. I mean, I don't hear about them off the field, anything negative, and it's just like I went to a couple games this year, and it's like every time I went back, I just wanted to see more guys like that, and it's like I feel like we're gonna hit character guys in the portal on not necessarily guys we need to develop, but more so camaraderie, chemistry guys. Those are the type of guys who, when we're down 10 points or whatever it was to LSU, that are going to help us have that second half adjustment, and we're all going to be able to lean on those guys to help us get to where we need to be. And so I know I didn't answer your question to categorize it, but I want to say better than expected, not win and loss wise, but like I said, just the chemistry. I just felt like, okay, this is a unified football team, and it's only going to get better. I told Billy at week 1 at Notre Dame, I said, this will be our worst team that we have under Elko's era, but I also think we're going to be really good. Like, that's a really good sign to me, is like, this will be our best, worst team, like, because it's only going to get better. And I know people were ripping on the offense at times this year, but it's like, man, I know no one in A&M wants to hear it takes time, but like, anytime you get thrown something new, that first year is going to be a little, it's going to be hot and cold. You're going to be balling some days, and some days it's going to be like, growing pains. So,
yeah, you're playing 2024 college football is what we're talking about. That's what's happening. I mean, those guys are backup O-linemen that don't see a clear path to start next year, and they want to play football. And they would love to keep an experienced guy like Cam and have a backup in Shanahan that has a chance to get better. I mean, he had a rough go of it this year, early in that LSU game, and then it got tougher for him in South Carolina and Auburn when he was in. It was tough, but he's a young offensive lineman. I think he's got a lot of promise. But there's a couple of things you're dealing with. It's players that are not starting want to play, and now more than ever, they can go pick somewhere where they can play, but they can also still be marketable on the NIL market. And, particularly a younger guy like Shanahan, or somebody needs an interior lineman that's played and got a lot of SEC reps and SEC starts, and Cam Dewberry. They can also go get paid, and they can get paid more than what A&M would pay, because A&M knows. They know exactly what kind of player a guy is, for better or worse, and they also know where they fit in their system. So let's say a guy like Dewberry or Shanahan, they'll get paid as backup at A&M on the NIL front, most likely, and can hit reset and go find a better opportunity to start, and B, they can get paid more because they're going to get paid as a starter by said school. And you've got one school that you're negotiating with in Texas A&M, and then you go in the portal and you've got many. So it's what happens, man. It's hard. You got to make decisions on where you're going to spend your money, where you're going to distribute for your salary cap, and you're going to lose some guys that are, I think, are good players in Shanahan and Dewberry, but they're depth.
I feel like everybody knew this bowl was going to happen. Those who cared about USC, those who cared about A&M, it was rumored for a while. There was a couple places A&M could go to, but I felt like most of the predictions were the Las Vegas Bowl. Did it feel that way for you all?
Yeah, the latest that we heard was that if Arizona State beat Iowa State, that was going to lock USC into the Las Vegas Bowl. And I was kind of a little skeptical, because last season when Florida State doesn't get into the playoff, that had a trickle-down effect, and USC didn't find out its bowl opponent and its bowl game until way late in the process. So we ended up getting the right information this year, but I feel like you can always, you never really know what's going to happen with that playoff, and if something weird happens, then that can affect some of the smaller bowls. So luckily that didn't happen this year, and yeah, A&M, USC should be a great game.
Look, I got to ask you about Lincoln Riley, because I read things, I see things. I hear that he could be on the hot seat, but that can't be for this year, right? They wouldn't let him be coaching now if they were thinking about moving on from him, right? That's more of about next year, or is it even potentially this year?
The problem is the previous athletic staff at USC signed Lincoln Riley to a massive contract 10 years, over $10 million annually. If he was to be fired right now, he'd be owed $90 million. That's according to multiple sources. So the situation isn't great, where 7-5 last year in the regular season, 6-6 this year, a new AD who didn't hire him. If the contract was different, he'd absolutely be on the hot seat. But because he'd be owed so much money, there's nothing that USC can do right now to get rid of him unless he wanted to take another job. And I don't think that is a possibility. He said all along he's in it for the long haul. He wants to be at USC. He's going to rebuild USC. But I do think if the contract situation was different, he'd certainly have his feet to the fire right now.
Is he a good fit for USC? Obviously, the wins and losses is what matters. But like, does he fit culturally? Does his personality vibe with it? Like, is it a good fit if he can figure out some of the issues that he's had that we didn't see at Oklahoma, but that was already he had an existing program that was already winning?
It's an interesting question. I mean, right now he doesn't look like a perfect fit, but I think in 16 of the last 17 years, USC's been out of the college football playoff discussion in the middle of October. So is it a Lincoln Riley problem or is it a USC problem?
All right, we're going to close it out. Caden, tell the people what to do. I knew it was going to happen. I could tell. So he doesn't watch the rewind. What was your reason for not watching the rewind?
I'm not lazy. I watch the whole
So you tell
show.
all the people that are watching they're lazy?
No, I think people are more busy than I am. I'm an
Okay.
engineer, so I'm busy, but I'm not that busy.
You're not that
I
busy.
can still watch the whole show.
So what do you think they should do after they watch a YouTube video? What do people tell them to do?
You need to subscribe
And what else?
and like the video and share it with other people.
And one more thing. What else should they do? Comment. I think they should comment.
Leave
Yeah.
nice comments.
Nice job. Way to rebound on that one. That was good. That was a very good job. Cooper, today's your last day to work on the show, but your last day on air on the show. I want to tell you how great of a job you've done, man. And you didn't even start on air. You worked your way to being on air. So you did an awesome job, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I've loved it.
All right. Hope to see you soon. All right, bud? All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Rewind. Yeah, it is the Rewind. We'll see you next time.